Good morning, my name is Todd Lees from Latima Brokerage and welcome to our video pulse wire. Now I know it's been a long time since my last one came out. I think it was October 2018. So it's a long time between drinks, but hopefully I'm a little bit more organised now and I will be able to put these wires out a little bit more regularly than what I have been in the past 6 months anyway. So the purpose of the wires is to share some latest market information on some of the major pulses that are traded around the world. There may be a bias towards more towards the Australian pulses, of course, because I'm a true blue Aussie and I'm sitting here in Australia, but I'm sure many of the other pulses will be also discussed that are grown from some of the other major producing areas around the world as well. But also I'd like the wire to provide a platform for interaction with you as well. I'd be very keen to hear your feedback on the information certainly that I'm disseminating, but also to perhaps hear what's going on in your market, particularly if there is a disconnect with what I'm saying and what is actually happening in the market. So I would welcome that feedback and your input. So what's happening with old crop pulses today? Desi chickpeas out of Australia really has been a slow grind as far as price goes. Some of the larger buyers that we expected to come into the market really haven't. Pakistan were expected to take the bulk of the old crop remaining in Australia, but they've managed to pretty much stay out of the market up till now, and they're expecting to produce a large local crop themselves. Some people are saying anywhere between 500 to 700,000 tonne, which is probably a little hard to believe given that they did have a late start to their planting program because of dry weather, and now they're experiencing wet weather at the back end of their program, where they're now looking at harvesting. So what the final tonnage is there and what the quality is going to be like is a big question mark. Bangladesh was supposed to take the bulk of the new crop that we produced. Like in Australia, we didn't produce a very large desi crop this year. So a lot of people will say it's under 200,000 tonne and was fully expected to be taken up by either Pakistan or Bangladesh. But the great demand that we were expecting from Bangladesh before Ramadan hasn't yet occurred. I'd say we've got another month's window for that to happen. If we don't, well, then there will be a few desi chickpeas carried over on into the second half of the year. Lentils, the balance sheet seems to be very, very comfortable as far as stocks and availability goes. But we're at a point where farmers just are not happy to sell below a certain price point. That seems to be around that 430, 425 CFR level. So if the prices aren't there, they're quite more than happy to put those stocks back into storage and wait for the market to meet those price levels that they're happy with. Faba beans, a bit like desi chickpeas, has come off the highs, the market highs, primarily due to the fact that there's very little buying demand at the moment. There's been a lot of stock or shipments arriving in the ports in Egypt, plus there's some decent tonnage on the water. Moving its way towards or heading its way towards Egypt. So the market is fairly comfortable at the moment with stocks, but how much tonnage is in country and is arriving, and how many months will that last? I was in Egypt about a month ago, and I was saying then that there's very little depth in Australia as far as available tonnage for export. So my view, as it was a month ago, is that come the back end of the month, say June, July, August, I think there will be a shortage of beans in Egypt, and there'll be some good demand for whatever little tonnage remains in Australia to be exported. Mung beans in Australia, disastrous planting program this year. We simply didn't get in the acres because we had extremely dry weather over our summer and simply didn't get the rainfall required to enable a planting program to occur. So what we're going to see probably this season is that international buyers are going to have to focus on other origins such as Argentina and East Africa to satisfy their green mung bean demand. Plantings, new crop. Northern Hemisphere seems to be in a decent position as far as soil moisture levels go for commencing their planting program in April-May. Australia, unfortunately, we've had a disastrous summer as far as rainfall goes. We're still very, very dry, and we probably need 5 to 10 inches of rain particularly on the eastern seaboard before we can commence our planting program, which normally starts at the end of April. So, as I say, 5 to 10 inches needed. I've got a little graph here, not a graph, it's a map of expected rainfall coming not only just today but tomorrow. Looks like some decent rainfall on the eastern seaboard, which hopefully might deliver a couple of inches if we're lucky, but we're still going to need a lot more rain before we can even look at producing an average size crop this season. Well, that's about it for this week. I look forward to receiving your feedback and any comments that you may have on what I've discussed. And please, as I said, if you've got any inside knowledge or information that you can share about your market in particular, where you are, I'd be pleased to hear that and share that with other listeners next week in next week's Wire. Have a good weekend. Have a great weekend, and look forward to seeing you next week, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Bye for now.